One of the most common problems we see with done-for-you clients on the agency side or the consulting clients on more the info side is a lot of people run into the same problem of not building enough trust with their prospects. And typically this manifests in no-shows, cancellations, a ton of objections at the back end of the call, and even things like comments on social media posts or on YouTube videos where there's some skepticism involved, where people are showing signs of skepticism before the sales call. And the reason that this occurs is you are failing to build enough trust with your prospects prior to asking for the sale. And it's very simply put, I want you to think about this just like you would marrying someone, right? You don't just walk up to somebody at a bar and immediately propose. You're going to get rejected 10 times out of 10. That's not how it works, right? First, you've got to start dating. Then you've got to ask them out. Right? Then you've got to continue to date, introduce them to family members, introduce them to friends. Can you travel well with them? Do they have, and you're figuring out more about this person to the point where you go, oh, I think if I propose, she'll say yes. Right? But you're not doing this on the first date. And the problem is a lot of advertisers, they think that they can get married on day one. And so what happens is they'll run an ad to a funnel, expect people to show up to the call, expect to not have to do any education or objection handling on the sales call, and they never end up closing, right? And then the salespeople or the advertisers are like, well, I don't know why this isn't working. I'm getting the right people on the call. Why aren't they closing? And it's because you haven't built enough trust. And so it's a very, very simple analogy. Again, is I want you to think about this as if you're trying to date somebody and maybe you want to marry them. Like, you're not going to propose on day one. That's just not how it works. And so how do we get around this as advertisers? A lot of this starts by mapping what the key friction points are in the funnel. So the first thing I want anybody watching this video to do is list out, okay, what are the objections I'm seeing? What are the limiting beliefs I'm seeing? And from there, you begin to develop what are called sales assets. Now, all a sales asset is it is a piece of content or a resource that you can use to then pre-handle objections and limiting beliefs, or better put, prove competency in your offer. So if I'm selling to moms over the age of 40, who are struggling to figure out what to do after the kids leave the house, I need to have testimonials of moms over 40 that have seen the result, right? I'm proving competency. This is the simplest way to do it. But what also happens is as you begin to have sales calls, what you'll see on the sales call itself is you'll continue to get fed objections. So typically you see this more commonly when you scale up to like 3,000 a day in ad spend, but you'll start to get consistent objections. So you'll run an ad and then all of a sudden you'll get a ton of, I need to talk to my partner, right? Or you'll run an ad and you'll get a ton of, I need to think about it. What you're then doing is you're just listing out, okay, objection 1, objection 2, objection 3, maybe there's a limiting belief, right? So you have a couple limiting beliefs, and all you're going to then do is just turn these into different assets, right? Think of this video as a sales asset, right? If on your form, you say, I'm struggling to get people to convert on sales calls, but I'm getting the right people on. Well, then I immediately know, okay, that's a trust issue. Let me send them this video and show them exactly how we go about handling it. So they can either go do it themselves or they realize how much fucking work it is. And then they hire an agency or they pay for the info help, right? It's very, very straightforward. And so these can be things like YouTube videos. These can be things like PDFs, testimonials that are designed to handle objections. So certain people will have had that objection before the sales call. These can be things like, flowcharts, example funnels if you're an agency, right? There's a ton of different resources that you can use to then redistribute the message. Content, short form content. And what we're doing is we're taking these resources that handle different objections and limiting beliefs, and between them clicking the ad and the sales call, we are feeding them these resources so that by the time they hop on the sales call, what we've done is we've taken their interest from here to here to here to here, so that when they hop on, they're at their peak point of, okay, yeah, I'm ready to buy, right? You've answered all my questions. It's why we oftentimes have people who come to us after building a business, do a couple $100,000 a month with organic content, go, I want to run paid ads. And the second they go to run paid, their salespeople suck. And they realize they've hired a bunch of shitty salespeople that have been converting people at the top of the interest spectrum because they've naturally consumed all the content and the nurturing material. And so that's the fundamentals behind how to build trust. I think the other key part to this that is super, super powerful is contextualized distribution. So this is all stuff that as a marketer, I can control through things like pre-call emails, content ad strategies. And if you guys want to learn more about this, like subscribe or book a call below. There's going to be a link to speak to myself or a member of my team about working with the agency or joining on into the consulting program to learn a little bit more on the info side to then see if, hey, maybe you actually do want to work. And again, we'll cover pre-call emails, content ad strategies, all that fun stuff. But content ad strategies, contextualize SMS, right? In some cases, low ticket funnels do this on the front end. And this is what we can control as a marketer. The key with the marketing side of things, though, is you're just kind of throwing shit at a wall and hoping it sticks, right? Like when you are sending somebody emails, you're basically hoping that one of these emails resonates with the prospect to where they go, aha, this makes sense, or this makes sense, or this makes sense. But you're never going to hit 100 out of 100 emails. You're never going to get somebody to open up all 12 of your value dense emails in a 48-hour period. Like it's just not how it works. The secret to all of this that takes it to the next level is what your salespeople do. And this is something that demands a very strong sales culture and a sales culture that promotes work ethic and going the extra mile, because a lot of these things salespeople will forget to do after 2-3 weeks, right? It's why having a solid sales manager in place that is constantly doing calls, educating your team on what to do is so, so important. But what you're going to do is simple things like send them a selfie video when they book a call. Like, hey, this is Zach from so-and-so's team. Like, so glad you booked this call. Excited to be talking to you here in a day or two. Before we chat though, I want to know, was there any questions you had? Was there anything specific you want to focus on this video so that I can send you any resources before our call, right? And so what you're doing with the selfie video is you're building trust. Hey, this is a real person. And you are asking for context, right? Same thing goes with text. And what you're going to do is you're going to send contextualized sales assets. So all of these things, the content, the YouTube videos, the PDFs, whatever, you're going to put into a document that we call a trust asset log. And you're just going to label it based on what you see. So for example, if salespeople are constantly getting, well, who have you worked with in the past? Cool. They can click to that link in the document and it'll open up an entire Rolodex of videos that they can send, right? And then you can go even deeper. You can go, okay, they want to see proof. Got it. Who's the person I'm speaking to? Oh, they're a black male that's 36 years old. Awesome. Here's a testimonial of a black guy that's 36 years old that had your exact objection. Oh, you're an Asian man who is pretty gung-ho. You just want to see some proof. Cool. Here's an Asian guy that had that objection that is your age, right? And you can send contextually based testimonials so that they resonate, right? You're really leaning into the herd mentality, the groupthink mentality of, oh, if someone that looks exactly like me can do it, then, or did it, then I can do it too. And so you'll send contextualized sales assets. And a lot of this comes from solid setters or closers that are willing to do the work. And so all that they're doing is similar to the marketing where you want to send them a bunch of different angles. They're skipping through all of this and they're going straight to, okay, Johnny only cares about this, or Susie only cares about this. So let's feed Susie information about this. And it allows you to address objections as they come in. right? It's very, very straightforward. It makes it super, super simple. And this is how you build trust. Again, there's a ton of other things that we do on the marketing and the sales side to make sure that you're building as much trust as humanly possible. But the key takeaway I want you to have from this video is, look, you're never going to get somebody to randomly click an ad and marry you on the first date. That's not how sales and marketing works. You have to build their interest, nurture them further as you move through the call. And so that's what hopefully this video did. If you want to learn more information about what it's like to work with us on the agency side or on the consulting side, again, there's going to be a link below. You can book a call with myself or a member of the team to learn a little bit more about how we can help you scale your paid ads past a couple $100,000 a month, or raise capital for your fund. So hope this helps. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.